Coming off of the U.S. Open, we've got another fantastic event for the PGA. The Travelers Championship is this weekend, not too far away from Shinnecock Hills at TPC River Highlands in Connecticut. Here to help break down expectations and best bets for the event, Ginger Joe, as always, we are here to talk about what everybody needs to know for this week's PGA event. Joe, let's jump into talking about this course, TPC River Highlands in Connecticut. It seems like it's going to be the same level of difficulty for the precision and the accuracy needed to succeed. What do bettors need to know about this course when they're making decisions on who to bet on?
Sure. I mean, this is basically the shortest course that they will play all year on the PGA Tour, Joe. TPC River Highlands. But just because it's short doesn't mean that it won't be exciting. We've got some really low scores that have come here at the course. Scotty Scheffler 2 years ago shot 22 under. Last year, Keegan Bradley won, I think, with 23 under par as well. But also significant to know that we've had the lowest ever round on the PGA Tour here at TPC River Highlands when Jim Furyk actually shot a 58, would you believe, all the way back in 2016. But that just sort of highlights the sort of task that the golfers are going to have this week. Like you said, Joe, not really too far away from Shinnecock, but this is completely different. This is very much a point and shoot job. The only real difficult holes around here would be 15, 16, and 17. Now, they are well known and widely regarded as the Bermuda Triangle at TPC River Highlands. You've got a par 4, that's just 296 yards. You've then got a par 3 with water at 171 yards and a par 4 then at 431 yards. Now, a few of those holes do seem quite short, but they are generally the toughest 3 holes on the course. But ideally, this is a course for the guys that are going to be, shooting the lights out. You're not going to have a high score here. You don't really want a flashy player for this sort of course. If you want some sort of model to look at, I'd say look at your short irons and wedges and someone that can basically hold plenty of putts, because off the tee, there's not really too much emphasis this week. You can pretty much spray it anywhere and you're still only going to have a wedge, pitch and wedge, or 9-iron in your hands to attack with. So real low scoring event this week, Joe. But I think there's a bit of value here too.
No, absolutely. And we've got 4 picks that we're going to go through here that you love for this event. Notably, by the way, there's no Rory for this event. So Rory's not going to be participating for golfers that are fans of, or golf fans that really like following Rory McIlroy. He's not going to be in this event. The first guy that you really like, Ryo Hisatsune, who is a 23-year-old Japanese golfer. From what I dug into, he has not played TPC River Highlands before, and he's just overall pretty new to events like this. What caught your attention with him, and why do you like him as more of a long shot pick?
Yeah, so Ryo Hisatsune, he's a player I've watched for quite a few years now, John. I'm a big follower, of course, the DP World Tour as well, the European circuit. Now, back in 2023, he actually broke through and won the French Open when he was just 21. And on that tournament in particular, that was sort of the shining moment for him in his early career. He's definitely a player that's got a lot of class. And since then, obviously, he has graduated to the PGA Tour. Now, even though he hasn't won just yet, it's still very, very early days. But he is one of the players that has arrived on the PGA Tour and just seemed really comfortable with how things are run over there in America. Obviously, this is the elite tour, but he looks well at home. His strongest asset around his game is actually his precision with his mid-iron. So when he's striking the ball well, he is consistently giving himself plenty of chances at birdie. He's very reliable, has a pretty decent green and regulation number as well. And this is the sort of course that's just going to suit his game really, really nicely. His game isn't built on power. It's really built on just class and a real balance of sort of his attributes across his game. So he's a real all-round player. He has posted some real low numbers this year already on the PGA Tour, and at a course which is definitely basically leaning towards, having a good wedge player and a good iron player. The 100-to-1 around Hisatsune just seems far too big. I think he's a really good addition to this squad because the event outside of Scotty Scheffler is quite open, and I think you could have had Hisatsune at half the price at 50-to-1 and he'd have still made plenty of appeal. So he has played in some of the majors, not really done too well, but he has been playing well at courses that require low scoring events. So he should suit here no problem. He's just an overpriced selection for this week, Joe. I like him quite a bit here.
Yeah, and you can get him at plus 10,000 odds to win the event. So certainly a lot of value available there for Hisatsune. You have another golfer who has not participated at TPC TPC River Highlands before, that being Christopher Ritan. Now, he's actually had a really underrated season so far. He won the Truist Championship, and he finished tied second at the Zurich Classic. What caught your attention with him? Is it mostly the hot stretch that's going under the radar?
But he is, again, another player that's sort of, been promoted from the DP World Tour. But unlike the majority, again, Christopher Ritan, he's fit right in, but also had a win to his name already. And usually when players come from the DP World Tour to the PGA Tour, it just takes a little bit of time for them to adapt. But this is a real class player. There's plenty of reasons to like Ritan, past the aesthetics too, because his golf swing is just absolutely pure, very repeatable as well, which is something that I do like for these sort of courses. But this year, Joe, across the season, he's been playing well at a big variety of different courses. Like we said already, he won the Truist Championship on a demanding layout and shot 15 under par. He actually finished tied 6th at Muirfield. But like you said, he's also finished tied 2nd at the Zurich Classic on a score of 30 under par. The ability to perform at both sort of types of courses is a major asset here. He's also coming into this event having played quite well in some of the majors too. He's got real impressive sort of approach play, but not really even just from 150 yards in. It's from like 200 yards in, and he's been really consistent, and that is all about having such a repeatable swing. He's got 6 top 15 finishes, in his 16 starts. Carries himself really well around the golf course, rarely blows up and posts big numbers, creates plenty of birdie chances when his irons are firing, and his putter has been awesome this year too. So you need a player that can go low this week. Christopher Ritan has proved that he's been doing that all season long. Plenty of low numbers, and again, probably a little bit overpriced really based on the credentials on offer. He's probably more based on the fact that he hasn't got the biggest reputation yet, but coming to a golf course like this where you just need a real consistent iron player, well, that is Christopher Ritan to a T. Really good chance this week, Joe. Everything to like about him.
Yeah, he's at plus 7,000 right now. So another golfer that has really good value. The next golfer that you sent to me, I was excited that you brought him into the mix here, because when I was doing some of my notes and research for expectations for who could perform well, Brian Harman really caught my attention. Plus 5,500 to win the event. And I feel like the big reason why you're going to lean into him is that he does really well at this course. He finished tied 5th last year. He was tied 8th the year before that, tied 2nd the year before that. He has been a top 10 finisher in all of his last 5 starts. So it seems like Harman could or should be getting a lot more love for the Travelers.
Yeah, I agree, Joe. And it is a combination of a few things. Like you said, he's got really good form here at the course. But this year, it hasn't gone right for him. It must be said. He hasn't even had a top 10 finish this year just yet, Brian Harman. But like you said, this golf course seriously seems to suit his game. Not only from a standpoint that he's played well here previously, but when he is playing well at these sort of courses, again, it's all down to his iron play. He's not a big hitter off the tee. Find fairways, find greens, and make a few putts. It's also important to remember that he does now have a major pedigree, Brian Harman, and you don't do that by chance. He is going to find his form sooner or later. Now, last week at the US Open, he shot a round of over the 4 rounds of 6 over par. Now, that didn't have him in contention for the lead whatsoever. But if you go and watch how he played last week, he was actually showing signs of his old self again, certainly with his irons. He wasn't necessarily great off the tee, Joe. That was the slight worry. But like I mentioned, there's not a massive emphasis on players finding fairways this week. Wherever you are on this course, you're going to have a shot at the green. Last week was the first week that we've seen Brian Harman come back to his better form from this season. Now that he's hitting his irons well, I don't see why he shouldn't be able to post a good number here. I think if he starts well this week, he will be a player that hangs around for the rest of the tournament. So again, a big price for Brian Harman, and could be one to catch just at the right time.
And lastly, you are a big fan of Russell Henley going into this event. He's at plus 3,000, and he's coming back off of back-to-back finishes at this course, so tied 19th in back-to-back years. He also has, in the last 5 years, he has a tied 2nd finish at TPC River Highlands. Why are you so in on Russell Henley for this year's Travelers?
Yeah, he is absolutely the standout selection for me this week. A really good course fit from what I can see in his game. And he was the player, Joe, that I've had in mind for this event for the last month or two. It's really been an event that clearly suits his game. Just before I joined the Sports Geek, my followers will know we actually had Russell Henley when he won the Charles Schwab. And I think this is the time to get back on board with him as well. He's often a player I talk about being pure class because he's world number 5. Yet he's one of the shortest hitters off the tee, hitting at less than 280 yards average. Yet he still competes at courses that shouldn't suit his game. We saw it this year at the Masters where he finished tied 3rd. You couldn't find a course that could suit his game any worse, yet he was still able to contend there. And the fact that he's been hanging around in this top 10 in the world for some time now just shows you how quality of a game he has. What he gives away in distance, he definitely makes up for in accuracy, particularly with the long irons, because he has to, just where he's hitting the ball from so much further back than some of the elite players on a week-to-week basis. But the fact he's still been able to win 6 times, the fact that his short irons are probably his best attributes for his game, again, he comes here overpriced. World number 5, yet he's about 12th in the betting market here. So even that correlation alone probably tells you that the price is far too big for Russell Henley. He's a player that just impresses me week on week, Joe. Coming to a course like this that couldn't suit him any better, the shortest course that the players are going to face on the PGA Tour, you have to get back on side with Russell Henley this week. He's a really, really good price at plus 3,000, I think.
Yeah, I've got him down at plus 3,000. So that, like, to your point, for him to be as high as he is in the world rankings, to be that far down on the odds to win the event is just tremendous. It seems like it's a steal at that point. Folks, do us a favor and comment below. Who are you picking to win the Travelers this weekend? Hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on future golf picks here on the Sports Geek. We'll catch you later.